In 1783, a choice faced America. The Revolutionary War had ended, and the young nation stood at a crossroads. The people were weary from years of conflict, and the future was uncertain. The question loomed large: what kind of government would guide this fledgling country? A choice that would forever alter its destiny. The leaders of the revolution, having fought for freedom and independence, now had to decide how to govern themselves. Would they follow the path of monarchy, as so many nations before them had done, or would they chart a new course? Imagine, George Washington, victorious general, offered a crown. The man who had led the Continental Army to victory was now being asked to become a king. It was a moment of profound significance, one that could shape the very essence of the new nation. He accepts, not for power, but for unity. Washington understood the deep divisions within the country and believed that a strong central figure could help to heal the wounds of war. His acceptance of the crown was seen as a means to bring stability and order to a fragile nation. A new nation, fragile, divided. The colonies, now states, were struggling to find common ground. Regional differences, economic disparities, and political disagreements threatened to tear the young republic apart. The idea of a monarchy, with Washington at its head, seemed like a solution to many. Could a king, a symbol of stability, be the answer? The crown represented more than just power. It was a symbol of continuity and tradition. In a time of great uncertainty, many believed that a monarchy could provide the stability needed to build a strong and lasting nation. Washington, a reluctant monarch, rules with restraint. He was not a man driven by ambition or desire for power. Instead, he saw the role of king as a duty, a responsibility to guide the nation through its formative years. His leadership was marked by wisdom and a deep sense of service, yet the very act of accepting a crown changes everything. The decision to embrace monarchy set the nation on a different path. It altered the course of American history, shaping its political landscape and influencing its future development. The seed of monarchy is sown, taking root in American soil. The idea of a king, once foreign to the American spirit, began to take hold. It influenced the nation's identity and its place in the world, creating a legacy that would be felt for generations. The experiment of democracy, so bravely begun, is cut short. The dream of a government by the people, for the people, was overshadowed by the allure of monarchy. The choice made in 1783 would resonate through history, a reminder of the delicate balance between freedom and order. Generations pass. The Washingtons, a dynasty, is born. Each ruler inherits not just a throne, but the weight of their ancestors' legacy. Power, once carefully balanced, begins to shift. The monarchy, designed for unity, becomes a tool for control. The liberties fought for in the Revolution slowly erode. Freedom of speech, once a cornerstone, is suppressed. Dissent is met with force. The very ideals that birthed a nation now crumble under the weight of a crown. Centuries pass. The world outside changes, but America remains tethered to its past. The Washingtons, once symbols of hope, now rule with an iron fist. The line between king and tyrant blurs. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Rebellions flare only to be brutally crushed. The dream of liberty, once so bright, seems a distant memory. America, a land founded on the ideals of freedom, becomes a nation imprisoned by its past. The institution of slavery, a stain on the soul of America, persists. The monarchy, reliant on the wealthy landowner class, finds itself bound to this evil. Abolitionist voices, though present, are silenced. The economic and political machine, fueled by human misery, grinds on. The South, the heart of the slave trade, thrives under the monarchy. Plantation owners, wielding immense power, ensure the continuation of this barbaric practice. The promise of liberty, so powerfully declared, rings hollow for millions. Section 5. Winds of Change. By the 21st century, the world watches America with a mixture of pity and disbelief. The once mighty nation, a symbol of freedom and innovation, now appears to be a shadow of its former self. The streets that were once bustling with optimism and opportunity are now filled with uncertainty and despair. The global community, which once looked up to America as a leader, now questions its direction and future. A nation, once a beacon of progress, seems frozen in time. The grand monuments and historical landmarks stand as silent witnesses to a bygone era of greatness. The contrast between the past and the present is stark, with the decaying infrastructure and struggling economy painting a grim picture. The American dream, once a source of inspiration for millions, now feels like a distant memory. The current king, a young man named George Washington the 32nd, inherits this troubled legacy. Born into a world of privilege, he is acutely aware of the challenges that lie ahead. His reign begins at a time when the nation is deeply divided, and the people are yearning for change. The weight of history rests heavily on his shoulders as he steps into the role of a monarch in a modern world. But unlike his predecessors, he feels the winds of change. He is not content with maintaining the status quo. He recognizes that the old ways are no longer sufficient to address the complex issues facing the nation. His vision is one of transformation and renewal, driven by a desire to create a better future for all citizens. He understands that true leadership requires courage and a willingness to embrace new ideas. Educated abroad, exposed to democratic ideals, he questions the very foundation of his rule. His time spent in foreign lands has opened his eyes to different forms of governance and the potential for a more inclusive society. He has seen firsthand the benefits of democracy and the importance of giving a voice to the people. These experiences have shaped his worldview and fueled his desire for reform. The plight of the downtrodden, the injustices endured, weigh heavily on his conscience. He cannot ignore the suffering of his people, nor can he turn a blind eye to the systemic issues that have plagued the nation for generations. The cries for justice and equality resonate deeply within him, compelling him to take action. He is determined to address the root causes of these problems and to work towards a more just and equitable society. He envisions a different America, one where the crown serves the people, not the other way around. His dream is to create a nation where every individual has the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their background or circumstances. He believes in the power of unity and the strength that comes from embracing diversity. His vision is one of hope and possibility, a future where the American spirit is rekindled and the nation once again stands as a beacon of progress and innovation. Section 6. A world divided. The world looks vastly different from our own. Europe, having weathered its own storms of revolution and change, is now a patchwork of democratic republics. Asia, a rising power, views America's monarchy with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. The concept of individual liberty, once a radical idea, is now the norm. America, clinging to its outdated system, finds itself increasingly isolated on the world stage. The pressure for change mounts, both from within and without. Section 7. The price of freedom. King George the 32nd, torn between duty and conscience, initiates reforms. He grants limited autonomy to the states, establishes a parliament with elected representatives, and begins to dismantle the oppressive systems that have held sway for centuries. His actions, though met with resistance from the old guard, spark a wave of hope across the nation. The fight for true freedom, for a government of the people, by the people, for the people, is reignited. Section 8. A legacy reconsidered. In this alternate reality, America grapples with the ghosts of its past. The legacy of the monarchy, both good and bad, is debated fiercely. The ideals of the Founding Fathers, though twisted and manipulated over the centuries, still hold power. The question arises, could America have ever achieved true equality and freedom under a monarchy? Or was the seed of its own destruction sown the moment a crown touched Washington's brow? Section 9. Echoes of Choice. The story of this alternate America serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of freedom. In this version of history, the choices made by individuals and groups ripple through time, creating echoes that shape the nation's destiny. Each decision, whether made in the heat of a protest or in the quiet of a voting booth, contributes to the larger narrative of liberty and justice. It underscores the importance of vigilance, of safeguarding the institutions that protect our rights. The courtroom scenes remind us of the battles fought within the legal system to uphold the principles of democracy. Town hall meetings and legislative sessions are the arenas where the voices of the people are heard and where the future of the nation is debated and decided. It prompts us to ask, what is the price of liberty? The reenactments of debates and the images of people voting highlight the ongoing struggle to define and defend freedom. The Liberty Bell, a symbol of American independence, serves as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. And are we, as citizens, willing to pay it? The thoughtful expressions of citizens, the fervor of protests, and the earnest discussions captured in these images challenge us to reflect on our own roles in this democratic experiment. Are we prepared to engage, to speak out, and to act in defense of our freedoms? The answers to these questions are as relevant today as they were in the days when America first dared to dream of a government by the people. The signing of the Declaration of Independence, the celebrations of Independence Day, and the crowded town halls are not just historical events. They are living traditions that continue to inspire and challenge us. As we look back on these moments, we are reminded that the echoes of choice are ever present, urging us to remain vigilant and committed to the ideals of liberty and justice for all.